Hello, future educators. I am Joshua Musadin.
I am Maribel of San Diego from BTB TED CCT 2C.
Today, we'll take a closer look at the historical relationship between the Philippines and the United States. This relationship has evolved over more than a century, shaped by the colonization, war, immigration, and mutual cooperation. So the first topic is historical relationship overview. So the first one is relationship rooted in historical and cultural ties from the American and the colonization of the Philippines. So this relationship between the two nations began in the 1890s when the United States colonized the Philippines following by the Spanish-American War. During the period, the US or the United States introduced a significant change to the Philippine society, include American-style education system, the use of English language, and democracy situation. Of course, until now, we can see American influences in the Philippines. Like now, we have the sport that's from America. One is basketball and American holidays like Thanksgiving become a part of a Filipino life. Those early interactions set the stage for a strong, multi-phasing relationship that has endured to this day. So the second part is the 1946 establishment of diplomatic relationship. So during the 1946, a pivotal moment occurred in the Philippines-American relationship on July 4th. The Philippines gained the independence after nearly 50 years of American rule. On the same day, formal diplomatic relationships between the two nations were established. This marks the start of the partnership based on the quality and the mutual respect. The United States played a key role in helping the Philippines rebuild its economy and institution after the invasion of the World War II, ensuring a smooth transition to independence. This new relationship paves the way for future cooperation in defense, trade, and government. So, the third part is the 1951 U.S. Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty, the foundation for a strong security partnership. So, during the 1951, the Philippines and the United States took a major step to strengthening the alliance by signing the U.S. and Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty. This agreement established a mutual commitment both nations pledging to come each other aid in the event an armed attack. This treaty became a foundation of the security partnership and underscored the importance of the regional civilization during the Cold War. So, without this treaty would be today. The treaty remains the cornerstone of the relationship, ensuring close military cooperation, joint training exercise, and a unified stance on the key security issues in the Asian Pacific region. So the last part is ongoing cooperation, economically, personally, and regional ties. The partnership between the Philippines and the United States continues to thrive through ongoing cooperation in various fields. Now, the first one is mentioned is economically or economics. The U.S. remain one of the Philippines' largest trading partner and the key source of the investment. The two countries collaborate on developing programs focusing on education and healthcare. The second is on a personal level, a strong Filipino-American community in the United States play a vital role in strengthening ties with over 4 million Filipinos living in the United States. They contribute to culture exchange and the act of bridge between the two nations. And next is the regional ties, the last one. So, regionally, both countries work together on disaster response or counterterrorism and maintaining peace and stability in the Asian Pacific. Agree like the enhanced peace defense cooperation agree allowed to join military train and U.S. military support in time of crisis.
So good day everyone. My name is Crystal Jane Indino from BTB CCT 2C. So our topic today it's all about key aspect of US Philippines relation. So US Philippine relation are the based on the strong historical and cultural linkage and a commitment to democracy and human rights. The 1951 U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense provides strong definition for a robust post-World War security relationship. So, Filipino-American influence, culture impact, and Filipino-American descendants. Filipino-American have have significant contribute to versus aspect of American security show sharing the cultural and adaptability. So exchange program opportunities for cultural and academic collaboration. So a student exchange program is a program in which students from a secondary, high school, or high education study abroad from home university or other university. Modern Filipino identity evidence to American culture and values. So, araw ng kasarian or araw ng kalayaan is an annual national holiday in the Philippines observed on June 12, celebrate the declaration of Philippines independence from the Spain. So, first contact and USA involvement, April 18, 1908. U.S. the Consul E. Spencer Pratt approached Emilio Aguinaldo in Singapore. Aguinaldo happened to be in Singapore because the ship he was thinking Europe stopped there on April 21, 1898. He paid a visit on the Englishman and friend of the Singapore named Howard. Baray had been providing United States the promise of the Philippines independence in exchange the help in the war against Spain. So, May 1, 1898, Battle of Manila Bay, Commodore Dewey defeated Spanish forces. So most famous battle was the battle in the San Juan Hill where the future VS President Chudoro Sabal and the Haas, the Truth Riders play a pivotal role and the United States engaged victorious and as a result of the war, Spain control over the several of its colonies. The war market in the U.S. As a gold power. The of the Peace of 1898 formally end the Spanish-American War and was December 10, 1898. The Battle of the Manila Bay was the significant naval engaged during the Spanish-American Wars. The battle took place on May 1st, 1898.
Good day, everyone, especially to you, Sir Bier. Um, our topic for today is ship to American rule. So the first is post-Spanish defeat. Filipino revolutionary hope for freedom unmet. So post-Spanish, anong matapos ang digmaang Espanyol at Amerika noong 1898, natalo ng Estados Unidos ang Espanya at naging daan ito upang tuluyang humina ang kapangyarihan ng mga Espanya sa kanilang mga kolonya, kabilang ang Pilipinas. Sa panahong ito, nagkaroon ng mataas na pag-asa ang mga revolusyonaryong Pilipino sa pangunguna ni Emilio Aguinaldo na makamit na nila ang mga matagal ng pinapangarap na kalayaan mula sa anumang banyagang mananakop. Subalit, imbes na kilalanin ang kalayaan ng Pilipinas, nagkaroon ng negosasyon ang Espanya at Amerika kung saan hindi isasama ang mga Pilipino sa usapan. Sa kabila ng deklarasyon ng kalayaan ng Pilipinas noong Hunyo 12, 1898, hindi ito kinilala ng anumang banyagang kapangyarihan, lalo na ng Amerika. So the next is Treaty of Paris, 1899. US annexation of the Philippines. So the Treaty of Paris, 1899, noong Disyembre 10, 1898, nilagdaan ng Treaty of Paris, isang kasunduan sa pagitan ng Espanya at kasali na dito ang Estados Unidos na nagwakas ng digmaan Espanyol at Amerikano. Sa ilalim ng kasunduan nito, binili ng Estados Unidos ang Pilipinas mula sa halagang $20 million. So, opisyal na nilipat ng Espanya ng kontrol sa Pilipinas sa US kasama ang Guam, Puerto Rico at Cuba. Bagamat natalo na ang Espanya, ginamit ng Amerika ang kasunduang ito bilang legal na batayan upang angkinin ang Pilipinas bilang isang bagong kolonya. Naging malinaw na ang layunin ng US ay palawakin ang kanilang kapangyarihan at impluwensya sa Asia. Para sa mga Pilipino, isa itong malaking pagkakanulo dahil hindi sila binigyan ng pagkakataon na ipaglaban ang kanilang soberanya. Ang nasabing pagbili ng Pilipinas ay tila ba pagtrato sa bansa bilang simpleng ari-arian na maaaring ipasa mula sa isang kolonyal na kapangyarihan patungo sa isa pa. So the next is establish of colonial rule, 1900. US policymakers deemed Filipino incapable of self-rule. So, ito naman sa establish is noong 1900 nang naganap ng kontrolado ng Amerikang Pilipinas, idineklara ng mga opisyal ng US na ang Pilipino ay hindi pa handa para sa sariling pamamahala. Kumbaga ito ay self-rule. Ginamit nila ang konsepto ng benevolent assimilation upang gawing lehitimo ang kanilang pananatili sa bansa. So ano nga ba yung benevolent assimilation tsaka proclamation? Paliwanag ni Pangulong William McKinley na ang layunin ng Amerika ay tulungan ang Pilipinas na magkaroon ng progreso sa edukasyon at di lang edukasyon, reliyon at ekonomiya. Subalit ang tulay na layunin nito ay pananatilihin ang kontrol sa bansa habang unti-unting ipinapatupad ang mga polisya ng Amerika. So, next is rasyonalidad sa kolonyalismo. Ayon sa mga Amerikano, ang mga Pilipino daw ay hindi pa handa para sa demokrasya. Wala pa silang sapat na kaalaman o karanasan para sa pamamahala ng isang malayang bansa. Kailangan gabayan at turuan ng Amerikano upang maging sibilisado. Ang ganitong pananaw nakakabatay sa racism at ethnocentrism, kung saan itinuturing ng mga Amerikano na mataas ang kanilang kultura at sistema ng pamahala kumpara sa mga Pilipino. Next ano nga ba yung epekto ng Pilipinas sa kolonyal ng administrasyon? Palitan ng Amerika ang sistema ng pamahalaan sa Pilipinas at itinatag ang isang kolonyal na administrasyon. Itinatag ang Komisyong Draft 1900 upang pamahalaan ang Pilipinas at si William Howard Taft ang naging unang gobernador general ng bansa. So pag-aalsa ng mga Pilipino, ang hindi pagkilala sa kalayaan ng Pilipinas ay nagdudulot ng galit mga Pilipino, kaya napatuloy ang Philippine-American War. Noong 1899, 1902, libo-libong Pilipino ang namatay dahil sa digmaan, gutom at sakit habang pilit nilang nilalabanan ang panibagong kolonyal na kapangyarihan. The next is pagbuo sa lipunan at kultura. Ipinakilala ng Amerika ang kanilang sistema ang edukasyon gamit ang Ingles bilang pangunahing wika. Ipinatupad ang mga reforma sa kasalusugan at impretakstura, ngunit madalas ay para lamang mapakinabangan ng Amerika ang mga likas na yaman ng Pilipinas. So, the next is let's move to Philippines-American War. So, Philippine-American War on 1899-1913 was conflict between the First Philippine Republic and the United States, triggered by the U.S. annexation of the Philippines after the Spanish and American War. This war evolved through two primary phases and had significant long-term impact. So, ang Philippines-American War ay isang labanan sa pagitan ng First Philippine Republic at ng United States. Nagsimula matapos ang pag-angkin ng US sa Pilipinas pagkatapos ng Spanish-American War. Nahati ito sa dalawang pangunahing yugto at nag-iwan ng malalim na epekto sa kasaysayan ng bansa. So the next is the Phase 1, 1899, led by Aguinaldo Conventional Welfare. So, sa Phase 1, Conventional Welfare, pinamumunuan ni Emilio Aguinaldo, ang unang Pangulo ng Republika ng Pilipinas, ang pagsisimula ng digmaan gamit ang tradisyonal na labanang militar. Nagsimula ang labanan noong February 4, 1899 sa Battle of Manila. Matapos tumaas ang tensyon ng pagitan ng mga sundalong Pilipino at Amerika, mahina ang armas ng mga Pilipino kumpara sa moderno ng kagamitan ng US. Kumbaga, advantage yung mga kagamitan ng mga Amerikano compared sa Philippines. Sa pagtapos ng 1899, matindi ang pagtatalo ng Pilipino, kaya napipilitang mag-shift sa guerrilla warfare. So, sa Phase 2, shift to guerrilla warfare. Matapos matalo sa open battles, gumamit ang mga Pilipino ng guerrilla tactics gaya ng pag-ambush. Yun po yung mga tactics ng mga Pilipino na gamit ang pag-ambush sa pag-atake sa mga supply ng US. Tumagal ang digmaan dahil sa ganitong estrahiya, ngunit matindi ang naging tugon ng US kabilang ang Scorched Earth Policy Summary Execution at ang paglika ng mga reconcentration zone na tila ba internment camp. Nahuli si Aguinaldo noong 1901 na nagdulot ng paghina ng organisasyon resistant, pero napatuloy ang labanan sa mga Muslim-dominated na lugar tulad ng Mindanao, sa Sulu o Holo Sulu hanggang 1913. So yung next is ano nga ba yung mga epekto, the impact. So consultis, malaki yan na walang buhay sa digmaang tinayagang 200,000 hanggang 1 milyong Pilipino ang namatay. Karamihan ay mga sibilyan dahil sa labanan. Di lang sa labanan at sa gutom at sakit. Mahigit 4,200 Amerikanong sundalo ang namatay, karamihan din dahil sa sakit. Nasira ang maraming baryo at iniwang mahirap ang kalagayan ng Pilipinas. So, sa socio-political naman, sa consequences, naging kolonya ng US ang Pilipinas, kung saan itinutupad ng mga patakaran ng edukasyon, infrastruktura at kalusugan, pero ang layunin nito ay para sa interes ng US, hindi para sa kalayaan ng mga Pilipino. Nagpatuloy ang labanan ng mga leader Pilipino para sa kalayaan ng nagresulta sa paglalatag ng Philippine Commonwealth noong 1935 at kalaunan ang kasarinlan noong 1946. So, next is the legacy. Ang digmaan ng nagsiwalat ng contradiction ng US foreign policy, isang bansa nakabase sa anti-colonial ideal, pero naging imperialista sa mga Pilipino. Ang digmaan ay simbolo ng matagal na pakikipagbaka para sa kalayaan at nagsisilbing mahalagang bahagi ng kanilang kasaysayan. So, overall, ang Philippine-American War ay hindi na gaanong nabigyan pansin ngayon, pero isang mahalagang bahagi sa kasaysayan na nagpapakita ng epekto ng kolonyalismo at nagpandaigdig pag-usbong ng US bilang isang imperialistang kapangyarihan. And that's all my topic. So let's move on to next reporter.
So, next topic is about path to independence. So, the 1935 Philippines became a autonomous commonwealth. So, this began in the 1935 when the Philippines took a significant step towards independence under the Taiping-Smuck-Deverne Act. The United States granted the Philippines Commonwealth status, establishing a autonomous government, while the Philippines still remained under U.S. control for foreign relations and defense. This move allowed Filipinos to govern their interior affairs, laying the groundwork of full independence. And Manuel L. Quezon became the first president of this Commonwealth, overseeing the country's transition. The 10-year period set by the Act was designed to prepare Filipinos to be a complete sovereign or free country. This was a time of national building where Philippines developed a key principles economic system with more Filipino involvement. So the next part is the 1946 full independence granted by the United States. So, fast forward to July 4, 1946. A monumental day when the Philippines achieved full independence with the signing of Treaty of Manila. The United States officially recognized the Philippines as a sovereign nation. This was culminating of years of preparation, beginning with the Commonwealth, and the mark of the end of the 4-year decade of American colonization. The first president of the newly independent Philippines was Santiago Osmeña. This day is still celebrated as a country Independence Day, while Philippines was now free to govern itself. The United retained military base in countries reflecting continued strategies and security interests in the region. Nevertheless, this was a new chapter in Philippine history where it began to shape its future as a republic in the global community.
Conclusion. The conclusion of American-Filipino relation reflects a complex and evolving relationship marked by both cooperation and challenges. This relationship has been shaped by historical ties and strategic interest and cultural exchanges, alongside occasional tension over sovereignty and policy differences. 1. Historical ties. The Philippines was a U.S. colony from 1898 to 1946, during which American influence deeply shaped Filipino governance, education, and cultural. This historical link created a foundation for a strong bilateral relationship but also left lingering issues related to colonialism. 2. Strategic partnership. Over the decades, both nations have developed a robust security and economic partnership. The Philippines is a key U.S. ally in Southeast Asia, playing a critical role in U.S. defense strategy in the Indo-Pacific. Agreements like the Mutual Defense Treaty in 1951 and the Enchanted Defense Cooperation Agreement in 2014 underscore this alignment. 3. Economic and people-to-people ties. The U.S. remains one of the largest trade and investment partnership of the Philippines. Moreover, millions of Filipinos live in the U.S. and a significant number of Americans reside or work in the Philippines, fostering strong cultural and personal connections. 4. Challenges and tensions. Issues such as disagreements over U.S. military presence, trade policies, and human rights concerns have occasionally strained the relationship. However, both countries have generally prioritized maintaining a strong alliance. In conclusion, U.S.-Philippine relations have been characterized by a mix of collaboration and friction but remain an enduring alliance and shaped by mutual benefits and shared goals. But nations continue to work together to address regional and global challenges while navigating the complexity of their historical and geopolitical dynamics. The U.S.-Philippine relations are deeply intertwined through shared history and cultural ties. Diplomatic, security, and economic cooperation remain strong pillars of their partnership. This statement reflects the foundational areas of cooperation that typically define bilateral or multilateral relationship between nations. Each pillar plays a distinct but interconnected role. Diplomatic cooperation reflects the mutual commitment to dialogue, conflict resolution, and fostering international partnerships. It includes joint effort in global governance, treaty negotiations, and aligning policies on regional and international issues. Security cooperation encompasses military alliances, intelligence sharing, counterterrorism efforts, and joint operations to maintain peace and stability. It often involves defense agreements, technology exchanges, and collaborative responses to emerging threats. Economic cooperation covers trade agreements, investments, technology transfers, development aid, and initiative for mutual economic growth. It often strengthens economic interdependence and fosters innovation and prosperity. Defense and security cooperation. The two countries have a mutual defense treaty in 1951 and agreements like the Enchanted Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, which allow for U.S. military presence and joint training exercises in the Philippines. Economic ties. The U.S. is one of the largest trading partnership and investors in the Philippines, with collaborations in sectors like technology, services, and agriculture. Shared challenges. The nations collaborate on issues like counterterrorism, disaster response, and maritime security, particularly in the South China Sea. While the relationship has seen fluctuations due to shift in the Philippine domestic policy or geopolitical pressures, the historical and cultural foundation ensures that the ties remains resilient. This type of partnership demonstrates how nations can align their interests for mutual benefit, addressing both global challenges and regional priorities. This is a quote, words full of wisdom that someone important said, and can make the reader get inspired. Dr. Jose Rizal.